he kind of has that perspective.
Okay, here, why don't you get over with them? I love how you guys match, by the way. Okay, so, yeah, one accord, right? So I'm the Californian that Sam was referring to, I guess. And so when I came from California, I literally came to UT because of the motto, which is ridiculous, but anyway, because I really wanted to change the world. And so, oh yeah, what starts here changes the world if you haven't seen the commercials. So I was really into that, and so I was like, I'm going to Texas because, you know, they pride themselves on changing the world. And met Tino pretty quickly, actually, before school even started. And for the next 6 months, Tino and I just argued. And so don't always give up, okay? I just want to say that. So then what happened was I was in the church life for about 5 months, and my mind is just getting like completely blown apart. And I realized I immediately had a burden for mainstream Christianity and where I was at, and to just go back and just pull as many out as I could. Of course, I didn't realize what happens when you do that. So, but you all know. Anyway, I was really ignorant to that part. And so I immediately just started going to Austin Stone, and I had no interest in going to Austin Stone. I just wanted to find, like, seeking Christians and just start feeding them. And I just felt that everybody needed to know this. And so Michael Jenkinson actually told me that all I need to do is just stand up here and show that a cluster's possible. But I really felt from the Lord that I needed to show you guys something else. And that is, if anybody, okay, so we got the what is fruit bearing, right? That's the what. Okay, and the three hows are the students, the full-timers, and the community saints. Okay, so as far as the three are concerned, can everybody in this building who's ever had any of them in their home or been to our house, can you please stand up? And the reason I wanted to show everyone this is because gaining a cluster is not a one-man deal. And I learned that the hard way. And I really was just really blessed by the community of saints here, because everywhere where I felt short in maturity, in understanding, knowledge, anything like that, the saints were able to pick up the slack and pull them in the boat. And so, yeah. So actually, one of the best verses for me in showing this is in Luke 5, verses 6 and 7. I'm not going to quote them. I'm going to paraphrase them like the Message does. So basically, the Lord has told them to cast the net in the deep part of the lake, and when they begin to pull the net up, it begins to tear, and they call to their companions to come over and help them get the net in the boat. And this was totally my experience. I just got completely burned out. The amount of hours that we spent that summer, we just deem it summer of '09. Where I progressively met Julianne and then Sam, and then Sam introduced me to Trevor and Aubrey and Meredith, who isn't here, and we ended up just I would go over to their house. Okay, I actually did before I knew any of this, I would just go to wherever they were, and ended up just going over to the Hewlett house, which is where they lived, and the U, as they called it, and it was just totally normal. I didn't want to shove anything down their throat. I was a little nervous, actually, because I didn't really know a whole lot. No, I didn't know anything. So, but the times that I spent with Tino, he had gone through the lines in the Bible with me, and this just completely, I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe that the Bible went from 66 to one book, and
wow.
I really think that it actually. I remember Chris Hall and I went to lunch with Julianne. And we went through eating in the Bible with Jay, and Jay just like lit up like a Christmas tree. And she was just so excited, and then she went and told Sam something like, "Oh, they've got to tell you this stuff." And so I met Sam on the way to class one day. I actually had class with Chris, and I just skipped class. I was like, I've got to talk to Sam. Forget class. Like, I'm not a big fan of class anymore. So Sam and I sat down in the basement of Burdine. If you know what building that is, it's horrible. And I just went through the Divine Romance with Sam. And Sam was like in the hallway. He's like, "Oh, this is so cool," you know, like, just beside himself. And then actually that weekend, I went over to their house, and Sam's like, "Oh, you got to tell Mary and Aubrey and all this stuff." And so we went through the Divine Romance again. And this, I really believe. Well, okay, I'm kind of burdened to say this, a couple things, because I don't want this just to be a story, but to be somewhat practical. I really believe there's a couple things that can help in this area, and one of them is going through the lines in the Bible, because people in mainstream Christianity don't ever see that. We like to call it gen revving. And we jet rev whenever possible. At 3 in the morning, doing the building with our guitar friend here. So, but anyway, this is what I really believe that this helps, because it's almost as if you. I also believe it's really good to show them this in their own Bible, because when the poison does come, which it will, found that out. When the poison does come, it's you know, a lot of it is like, oh, it's their Bible, and all this stuff. And this way they can sit there and go, well, wait a second, like, he showed me everything in mine, you know, like, he showed me the Divine Romance in the NIV, that's not like a lie, you know. And so I think that's one aspect that helps. Another aspect is having just a mindset whenever I went into their home. And my mindset was there's just no excuses. I don't care how tired I am. The caffeine will do it, you know. And we would. I mean, there was one night where Jay and Sam and I they came over to my house eventually, and we went 16 hours straight just reading the Word. Was it 19? Jay says it's 19. Okay, so it was 19. And there was just no excuse for me, because I really believe that just excuses are lies, they're not reasons, and that it's our job to get this out. And basically, we just, oh my gosh, the amount of time, only the Lord knows. And I love you, bro. So basically, at the let's see, what else was I going to say about? Oh, I wrote it down, but it's okay. Oh, this is a big one, actually. Sorry, Carrie. This is a big one, actually. Is I never invited them to any meeting, ever. For months. There was no meeting ever involved. It was, and I have to be totally honest with you, the reason I did that was because I thought it would totally freak them out. And anyway, so we literally just kept going to them, and them coming to us, and we ate lots of waffles at my house, and that was basically we would survive on waffles all summer. And so they ended up getting poisoned, and there were certain things that ended up coming out that they said later that helped them, and one of them was you know, he never invited us to anything. He wasn't trying to get us to join anything. And I really believed in life, and I wanted to see that life was a reality, and that if we just continued watering, the growth would bring them to the meeting. And so that ended up happening. Praise the Lord. And it's only by the Lord's mercy that any of them are standing here, that I'm still standing here, because there were times where I was just over it. And so anyway, that is a cluster, I guess. And these are all UT athletes, by the way. So nothing is impossible, no matter what stereotypes you may have of athletes or anything like that. They're very intelligent. Anyway, praise the Lord, and yeah, okay. Amen. Praise the Lord. Amen. So.